All right, here we go. Artist Talk Guitar Streaming 352 is live in partnership with Guitar Streaming 352. You are watching Artist Talk with your host, me, the Dreamer. And on today's show, I have a special one, Dreamers. This is very, very, very good. And I can't wait to see what this gentleman has to say about his two published books. Are you ready to go, Dreamers? Let's get this started. And we are live! Hey, what's going on, people? My name is Will. For those that see this on a replay or that jump in now, consider subscribing. But let me introduce myself. My name is Will, aka the Dreamer. Welcome to Dreamland Studios, and my guest over here to my right, my other right, is Lambert, a published author, an author that I happen to know is a very genuine, talented, inspired individual. Lambert, Lambert, how are you today?
I'm good, Will. How you doing, man?
I am fantastic. I am wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So before we jump into this and before I try and I find out the inspiration behind your novels and what you're published about, I just want to just let the dreamers know, for those that have never seen me before, like I said, my name is Will, aka the Dreamer. You can find Guitar Streaming 352 on Facebook. You can find Guitar Streaming 352 on Twitter. And you can find Guitar Streaming 352 on Instagram. And if you like my content, and if you would like to see me grow my musical vision of bringing music to the masses, well, bringing my music to the masses and promoting other bands and other artists and their shows, then consider checking out my link down the description box below on PayPal. I want to be totally open, totally transparent with everybody. Please like and share this stream so that today we can make a positive difference in someone's life. And consider subscribing. Lambert, lay it on me, man.
Well, before I do, I want to ask about that green hat.
This right here, really,
Yeah.
it's just something I threw on.
Okay. Because, I was like, how come you didn't wear that before last time?
Now it's just something I threw on. Just something I
Okay.
threw on. So tell me, all the links are down the description box below. Tell me, Lambert, all about your inspiration and all about your books that I have the links for in the description box below.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, geez, where do I even begin? I guess it began somewhere around like 2008 and 2009. It's like I was like many other actors and actresses in Hollywood, just trying to make a name for myself, and needless to say, it was pretty hard because you go out on auditions, or you have to be ready to audition at a moment's notice. You always have to be free during the daytime, at least during the time when I was actively auditioning, and you know I guess around that time period, after going through so many auditions, it really started to take its toll on me physically. I became tired, and I remember one time it was somewhere in Burbank around, it was on Olive Street, and I forgot what the other other cross street was, but I got into a really bad 3-car accident, because I was so tired the night before from going to 3 auditions. And I mean, obviously I'm okay now, and I'm doing well, and I have another car. But I mean, that wasn't really the point. The point was I realized I had to start to make a change in the way I was approaching my dream and trying to, pursue my dreams of show business in Hollywood. And I remember my friend Arden telling me that, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they started out by writing screenplays, and so did Vin Diesel. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look how big they all are right now, especially Vin Diesel with his Fast and Furious franchise. And at the time, I thought, maybe that's not such a bad idea. I need to start writing my own screenplay. And that's essentially how my first book, Red Phoenix Legend, started. I just, started writing a screenplay around that time. And I, but it did take quite a while to complete because I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't even have any ideas. And just I'm just trying to sit by the computer, and I'm like, geez, what can I write about? And then
Mm.
just by chance, I made a stop. I had to run a couple errands at my mom and dad's house at the time, and the TV happened to be on Nickelodeon. You still watch Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon, not for a very long time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same here. But at that particular time, I saw a cartoon show called The Last Airbender. You ever heard of that show?
Probably.
Yeah, and that's actually where the idea for my first book came in. Ong, here's this happy-go-lucky kid. I mean, that was a little, I guess, impetuous and a little bit too spur of the moment, but at the same time, very powerful and very good at heart. When it came right down to it, and I thought to myself,
Absolutely.
I had to write a story similar to that, and so I did. But I wanted it to be a little bit more serious in tone, not too overly happy-go-lucky like the cartoon series. And
Mm-hmm.
needless to say, about I guess a couple years later, the movie version came out, and that's when it kind of the idea for the first book really started to come together, because it's like, yes, I knew from the cartoon show, I knew who the hero was gonna how yeah who the hero was gonna be. I was gonna be that hero, but I needed a more serious tone, and the movie kind of gave me that idea for the more serious toned character. And so I guess the best way to put it is Red Phoenix Legend is The Last Airbender, the movie version, meets The Last Samurai, because you have a very powerful warrior,
Mm-hmm.
who's very good in the martial arts, but also very good with magic as well, particularly elemental magic like fire magic and
Mm-hmm.
ice magic, and occasionally earth magic. And at one time, he even had the ability to summon demons from other worlds. But well, we'll get into that a little bit later in the
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah,
Where that came
definitely.
from.
Well, I just
Oh, sorry, go
want
ahead.
to. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say hi real quick to Wolverine. Hey, gang. Hey, Wolverine. What's going on?
Hey, Wolverine, how you doing?
From Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Hi,
Awesome.
Wolverine. Welcome. Welcome to the show. How's it going? I hope you're well. You are a sight for sore eyes, Wolverine. Thank you so much for being here today. And I see a Gibson Les Paul. Hmm. Does that mean you play? You play guitar? Let me know in the chat. I
Sorry,
like to know.
that's a nice
That
guitar.
that's a very nice guitar. That's actually better than the one I have. That's
Right.
really nice. That
Well,
is
it's better than what I have. I have a
that's
Jackson JS22 Dinky,
oh,
blue.
yeah, I
Yeah, I'll
remember
show
that.
that to you a little bit later.
Definitely,
'Cause-
I'd love to see that.
right? I mean, this is a
That
guitar show after all, and
absolutely, absolutely. And let's see what else Wolverine has to say. I'm more of a guitar owner. I don't play well. Well, can I tell you something, Wolverine? It's okay. You admire the beauty of these fine instruments and you appreciate the art. I would like to have you on my show, and I would like to have you on my show to talk about your love for guitars. Just something to think about. Let me know.
awesome. So anyway, I digress because wow, sorry, that was a beautiful looking guitar, so I kind of digressed a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, 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 that's fine. That's what this show is all about music. It's all about my guests are all guitarists, are all artists. Some
Right?
are professionals, some are touring, some are studio musicians, some are bedroom players. And hey, we have somebody else watching right now. Welcome. Say hi to Lambert. Say hi
Hey
to me,
everyone.
Will, the dreamer. How you doing? Welcome, 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 welcome to Artist Talk. I'd love to know who's watching. Hey, Wolverine. Appreciate that. Appreciate that offer. Thanks, Will. Hey, Wolverine. Anytime. Just contact me through one of the links. Actually, to everybody else and to my guest Lambert, who's my guest on the show right now. Welcome to Artist Talk. Stay inspired.
So, well, I just want to know really quick before I forget. To
Yeah.
Wolverine, my question is the neck on that guitar. Would you say the width of it is like comparable to that, like maybe to like a PRS SE custom guitar?
Oh, I want to see what he says about that. That's a good question right there.
Yeah, I was like, I had to. I see. I know I'm digressing again, but I have to ask that question before I forget, and then I'll get back to my books in a second.
Absolutely. No, no, no. That's fine. Ask away. Ask away.
Right? Because
Um, I also want to, let's see what he says. I'd like to know.
right? Because actually, I did have a PRS SC custom guitar blue one time, and oh, it was the saddest thing having to let it go because,
Yeah.
well, I had rent I had to pay at the time.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty painful going to the Guitar Center doing a street buy on it, and and oh geez, painful memories because that thing was a machine.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that we're talking about the
Mhm.
new Paul Reed Smith SEs that just came out, the NAMM show this year,
Right,
those are pretty sharp. And
right. A little different than the colors that I'm used to, but wow, they play like a dream, Mr. Dreamer. But anyway, sorry about that. Getting back to the subject. Sorry, that was a good guitar, but yeah, getting back to the subject at hand.
it's wider.
Yeah.
It's a baseball bat neck, a 50s
Oh,
neck.
okay.
So
Hmm.
it's basically this right here
Mhm.
is Rosie, named after my niece from China. But this is right here is a 1960 Gibson Les Paul
Oh.
tribute. And I did all the stain, I did all the wood burning. I went and I stripped the paint. I replaced the electronics. I replaced the pickups with the Marzio PG-13 Paul Gilbert pickups.
Ooh.
I took a tattoo gun or an etching gun, and I got a stencil and I etched in a rose from my niece Rosie.
Oh, okay. It's an etch. Wait, oh, you actually carved into the wood?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
with the with an etching gun, with a
Oh,
stencil gun. I
oh, okay.
carved in. I carved into the wood.
I was like, aren't you afraid you might carve in a little too far, though?
No, this is all one piece mahogany, solid body. And then I went and I got her name written right there on the truss
Oh,
rod
that's sweet.
cover.
Oh, so my thoughts go out to Rosie as well, then.
Technical difficulties there. Oh my.
But I guess yeah,
I'll be
going back.
right back.
Oh, sorry, go
I'm back.
ahead. But yeah, going back to the subject at hand, for those who haven't seen The Last Airbender, I guess, well, in the movie version, Aang, he's the last of, a group of monks who can bend the element air to his will, but because he's also the avatar, he's able to wield the power of the other elements as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there was a time in his journey where he didn't want to embrace his destiny, so he ended up running away, and I guess some kind of glacier avalanche caused him, to be frozen in ice for hundreds of years. And when he finally came out of it, his clan of, warrior monks was, uh, yeah, they were annihilated by the Fire Nation, the Firebenders. And so now the Firebend, he is now, I guess, not resurrected, but he's come back at a time when, yeah, the Fire Nation is, going to war with the Water Nation and also the Earth Nation, basically, the Earthbenders.
Mm-hmm.
And as the last Airbender, he must learn to master all the elements to defeat the Fire Nation.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so that in a way that kind of became the premise of Red Phoenix Legend. Um, Josai, the main protagonist of the book, he, he's the last warrior monk of a clan known as the Endeavor of Light,
Uh,
and but of course the difference is he wasn't frozen in ice for a number of years. Instead, his clan was annihilated by, a traitor, and um, um, I guess funny circumstances led to it where um, his teacher, Baldrin, a man from the Western nation who learned the ways of his people, becomes the reluctant savior and teacher of the hero Josai. And then so Josai and Baldrin go into exile for more than 20 years, where during that time Baldrin is teaching Josai, or Benevolent Ming Yao, which is his birth name, not only about his people, but the ways of his people, the martial arts, and even their magic. And when the time comes for Josai to embrace his destiny, he must not only save the lands of China, but he also must restore his people.
there you go. That's cool.
Yeah,
No,
that
no.
is the premise for the first book.
The how many books you have, Lambert?
Three. So this is book number one, Red Phoenix Legend,
Mm-hmm.
and this is Phoenix Legend: The Trials of Time, which is the second book. And the premise, I'll get to that in a second. And the third book, which took place 3 years after the second book, is Red Phoenix Legend: The Gates of Eternity.
Oh, there you
So
go.
yeah, over the last 10 years, I wrote this trilogy and this saga, and it was quite a journey. It was quite a journey, and I guess it's been such a long journey that I don't always remember everything that happened moment by moment. Sometimes I have to go back and search because it has been that long. Because when you write sometimes 1 page a day or 10 pages a day, anything can happen at any time.
Well, I I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna look. I was gonna ask you about that. You said something that kind of leads me into my next question.
Hmm.
But before I do, I just want to just share with all of my viewers. Check out String Joy. You're a bass player. You're a guitar player. Check out String Joy. www.stringjoy.com. They are now the world's leading up and coming string manufacturer. And you want to check them out. I know that I love String Joy. And I also want to give a big shout out to Billy Rowe, Rock and Roll Relic Guitars. Thank you, Billy Rowe. Thank you for everything that you've done personally for me and the sacrifices that you have personally made for me. And I can't tell you how much I love you and how much I love your brand. I love your instruments. I love your band, Jet Boy. Thank you, Billy Rowe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Plus, also, I also just wanted to say a quick hello to come on down here. Right here is that my streams are really dedicated to my PayPal donors, starting with ESP Mike for the wonderful, wonderful distortion pedal that he contributed to the channel. Sounds amazing. I need to do a pedal demo and send that to you, Mike. Plus, also, I'd like to give a big thank you, a big shout out goes to Design 39 Media, Eric Broadbent in Canada. Thank you, Eric Broadbent, for believing in me and donating to my musical mission. You will forever be a part of my shows. Thank you. And also, a very big thank you goes out to Dimbola Bladeworks. Dim, you're in Australia, Victoria, Australia. I hope you're safe with all those fires. Hit me up on Facebook. You have my number. Skype me. Let's talk. I like to know that you're okay. Thank you, Dimbola Bladeworks.
So I want to know a bit more about String Joy. Do they make strings of every color?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Let me get my guitar really quick. I'm trying to think. I was thinking of, putting some color strings on my guitar, and
yeah.
I want you to see my guitar first, and then I want you to think. Give me your input on when I tell you what strings I'm thinking about putting on it.
Hey, ESP Mike, I was just talking about you. Here, check out this Jackson, ESP Mike. This Lambert. Check out this Jackson. Wow.
So like I said, it's a JS22, dinky blue, and obviously that means it's a starter it's a starter guitar.
That's
But
all
for a
right.
starter guitar, it's not bad. The neck's a little
Not at
bit
all.
thinner, than the other one and the PRS. So, you can even tell, just by the fret, and also, just by how much my finger covers it, that it's a much thinner neck.
Yeah.
So, which means it does play a little bit easier, but at the same time, certain strings can be a little bit harder to reach, or sometimes you will find at times that your finger might be covering two strings at the same time. Like when trying to make some of the, I guess, other more elaborate bar chords.
Well, check this out. ESP Mike is saying your guitar is sweet, Lambert, and to go
Oh, okay.
with the
Go with the
9
nines?
gauges.
Yes.
Go with the 9s.
And What do you think? I was thinking about putting either pink or like neon green strings. Yeah, yes, no, maybe so.
Blue strings.
Huh?
Blue strings.
Blue strings?
Yeah.
Let's see, actually, that's not a bad idea.
Blue strings. Go to www.stringjoy.com
Mhm.
and hit them up. They make custom ordered sets of strings.
Oh,
Custom order. Oh, ESP Mike is saying pink.
okay.
Really?
See if he's
Okay,
on my side.
that's cool. Oh, spammer. But
Oh,
yeah, the definitely blue, pink. Um, can I see that body one more time, please,
sure.
Lambert? That is pretty sharp.
Yeah, and it's a
I'd say
little hard,
blue.
right?
I,
It's
I'd
a little
say
bit hard to see, but there's also let's see, there should be a place for. Oh yeah, there's a spot for a whammy bar right here.
oh, that's perfect. You have like a fixed bridge. Okay,
Yeah, and then
that's cool.
and then I believe this setting right here will give you a more clearer sound. This one a little bit more muffled, but so not too bad for a $200 guitar.
Not too bad at all.
Let
That not bad at all.
me just put this away really quick. I'm gonna bring that out a little bit later too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
So,
know, what kind of what kind of finish would you say that is?
what kind of what?
Finish would you say that is
Um, let's see.
on the on the body?
Right. Well, definitely not the maple or oak. Let me let me see, because I mean, it definitely doesn't sound bad, but it definitely doesn't sound as rich as the um, was it maple or oak that PRS uses? I forgot.
I think it's maple,
Oh, okay.
maybe. And while my guest is typing away here, I just want to take a chance just to say hi to everybody and thank you for being here today. And I will be posting a video or a live stream sharing some upcoming shows that I'm working on right now. Three very important guests, that three very important shows. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing because if I could get these three guests on, March is going to be an unbelievable, magical month of shows.
Oh, ESP Mike, I think he answered our question. Strat style tremolo,
Yeah,
and yeah, the fretboard is made of ebony, rosewood, and maple. Oh, I take it back. So it's not cheap wood that they're using.
not at all.
Wow.
Yours is probably basswood or alder. Yeah,
Yeah.
good call,
Oh,
Mike.
yeah,
I'd
because
have to agree with that.
yeah, because
That's go ahead.
yeah, it's definitely better. It's better sounding than I thought it would be for like a starter guitar. And I think my first starter guitar was like a Fender Squire.
And that's all right.
So, but yeah, yeah, but I like Fender's more upper end guitars. The necks, they're a little bit wider, and I guess sometimes my fingers won't overlap quite as much on like two
Hmm.
strings at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that that leads me to the next thing.
oh,
Actually,
okay.
guitar wise, there's a company I wanna challenge you to check out.
Okay.
It's a company that still hasn't replied to me yet, but I really want them on my show bad. They're out of Hollywood.
Hmm.
They're a USA company, family run, family owned, and they are called All in One Guitars
All in one guitars.
in Hollywood. And they make my personal favorite low budget instrument, Wolf guitars. And Wolf guitars are very budget friendly, costs about as much as a low level Squire Strat, costs about as much. Um, Really, just the perfect, and they're not entry level by any stretch of the imagination. They look like $5,000 custom instruments. The attention to detail is impeccable, and they come set up when you buy an all-in-one guitar, a Wolf guitar, and you fill out your order sheet. Everything, all the specs come from you. Come from you. The
Oh,
action, the frets, the nut. Heck, you have a bone nut if you want it. A lot of the 2020 all-in-one guitars come with a bone nut now because I've checked out the website. Um, and I can't speak good enough about all-in-one guitars and Wolf guitars in Hollywood. They got my attention,
oh, okay.
and I can't get them off my mind.
So what are the nearest? Do you know offhand what the nearest CrossFit is? Maybe I'll go check them out.
Um, well, I'll tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
Uh, um, I believe I believe they're on Western. Um,
Western. Oh, okay.
check
Western.
out check out all of Lambert's links while I'm doing this down the description box below, folks. Check out his books; they're epic. So
Thank you so much. So you like the story too, and yeah, I
I
guess you.
do. Wolf guitars.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, there's some new ones. Are 533
533
Southwestern
Southwestern. Oh, okay.
Avenue, Suite A, Los Angeles, California. Open up at 11 a.m. on Saturday, and the nearest cross street would be Southwestern and 6th.
Makes sense. Oh, I like. Geez, I'm thinking. Let's see. Let's see. Custom. No, no, not single coil pickup. Um. Well, first I want the body to be blue with like maybe yellow lightning and
Uh-huh.
the same maybe maple body. No, well, the wood is kind of heavy. Well, that's okay. Keeps it stable. And oh, sorry. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm listening. I love this. This is great. Talk.
Sorry. Right now, you got me thinking. What do I want my custom guitar to look like?
Well, what do you want your custom guitar to look like?
Well, honestly, I want a Prince's, logo on my guitar, but I mean, obviously, it's trademarked, so I could probably get in trouble for that. But still, that's such a cool symbol back when it used to be called symbol, and oh, geez, wouldn't it be just so cool to own a guitar that looked when he remember his custom guitar that was made in the likeness of its logo?
The which logo?
When Prince, when he had that purple guitar of his that was made in
Oh
the
yeah, 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 yeah. The cymbal guitar, I've seen it
Yeah,
a couple
exactly.
times. Seen a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Wow. You know what? Contact all-in-one guitars. The, all the people that work at all-in-one guitars
Hmm.
are all guitar players.
Oh, okay.
So they know what guitar players want because they want the same thing.
Right.
And that's why they look so custom. And that is why they're so low, like $400. And that's why they're set up to the player's needs and wants. All the way from the string tension to the action to the nut to the hardware to the electronics. It's all up to what the buyer wants because there's a form the buyer fills out
Right.
saying they want their nut to be a bone and they want their electronics to be Mad Hatter electronics or they want their pickups to be DiMarzio, Paul Gilbert, PG 13 mini humbuckers or whatever it is. It's all right there, and you give that when you order the guitar. You submit it, and when you get your guitar from them, it's in a hard shell case. It's wrapped up perfectly, and when you unwrap it and you open the case, your dream guitar is sitting right in front of you, and you didn't pay anything over $500, $600 for it.
Oh,
Pretty amazing.
I'm getting some ideas.
Me
So
too. Me too.
picture, yeah, picture that my guitar that I just showed you, but
Hmm.
with yellow streaks of lightning on this side and also this side too. One
Yeah.
above the pickups and one right below the pickup, the lower pickup, and then wow. Anyway, oh, getting back to my second book. So
Um,
I'm having so much fun thinking about what my custom guitar got is gonna be like. Okay, wait, got
hey,
it.
Wolverine. Thank you, Wolverine. Hey,
Yeah,
dudes, gotta run. Wife on her way home for dinner. Catch y'all later.
great
Good job, Wolverine.
catch.
Doing the right thing, man. Good job. Good job. Stay tuned. Consider subscribing to my channel, Guitar Streaming 352. I've got some big shows coming up in March that I'm working on, and I would hate for you to miss them. They're gonna be big, the biggest yet. Check out the shows on my page. Check out the shows and the guests that I've had. These three guests I'm working on now, it's gonna be a whole nother level, and I hope to see you there, Wolverine. Nice to meet you. The there's like do you is something that I want to I want to throw at you. You're a published author.
Mhm.
You're known for being a published author, and
Right.
you have these books to your credits, which is outstanding. What would you say if you could see your book adventure of being a published author? Where would you like to see this take you in your life? What are your master plans for being a published author? If
Well,
you would like to share that.
all right. Well, I guess well, like my short-term goal for the second book is I'm gonna create a blog, with more musical scores, and I'll introduce the composers' music that I intend to use on those blog posts later. But again, my immediate short-term goal is to create a blog post using music scores from various composers that I've heard recently that I think are very good. But in
Hmm.
the long run, I would like to see this trilogy become a movie saga, whether it be on Netflix or whether, on the, um, whether through big movie companies like Columbia Pictures. That's where I wanted to go ultimately, and I see myself becoming, an executive producer, on the trilogies, on the movies based on these trilogies, and obviously when the time is right, I'm looking for the next big action star to star in these movies. I'm looking for a very charismatic, good-looking actor who can play the part of Josai, the hero of my story, and obviously his love interest, Ai Ling. And my goal is not only to make these books, the next big trilogy, but maybe have a little small starring role in it myself.
Absolutely. So, ESP Mike says, name a few things that you have wrote. I'm unfamiliar. I'm sorry.
Oh, he probably missed the part where I showed my books. Well, ESP Mike, this is my first book, Red Phoenix Legend. So it's the story of Josai, who is the last warrior monk of the Endeavor of Light. And his master, Baldrin, over the next 20 years teaches him not only about his people, but, their ways and, their powers. And ultimately, it's to lead Josai to not only embrace his destiny, but to save the lands of China as well. And these stories are based, like I said before, not only on The Last Airbender, but a lot of the Chinese mythology my dad used to tell me as a kid as bedtime stories. Remember, I told you the Endeavor of Light once had the ability to summon like lesser demons from other worlds? Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's based on the horse demons, bull demons, fox demons. That's all based on the mythology my dad used to tell me as a kid. Growing up. The bedtime stories he used to tell me, and I decided to integrate that into part of this Chinese mythology trilogy that I've written. I guess, for lack of a better term, to make my dad proud because I know that's something he would have wanted.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. So, ESP Mike, check this out. And I love this cover. It kind of reminds me of a Sabotage cover that I saw once in the early days of Sabotage and Gutter Ballet and Hall the Mountain King. And this reminds me of kind of an early Trans-Siberian Orchestra type of type of fantasy. Check this out, Red Phoenix Legend, Mike. Check this out. Um, Let me get rid of that. That's my guest right there, Lambert Chirum, and this is his. This is one of three books, Mike. The links are down in the description box below.
And I think to kind of give you an idea of the emotional setting, it's kind
Yes,
of hard to describe in words. Is it okay if I play like a musical soundtrack?
please, please, please do.
Oh, okay. And don't worry, I have the licensing rights to these. I got the permission from the composer. So this first one, it's called
Oh, wait, hold on, hold on. Sonic Sonia's in the house. All right, Sonic Sonia, thanks for showing up. This is Lambert.
Hi
Say,
Sonia, how you doing?
say hi, Sonia. Cool. ESP Mike, sweet Sonia. What's good? What's
I
good?
like that.
That's cool. Sonic Sonia, check this out. Go for it.
Okay, so this one, it's called let's see, where is it? Uh-oh. This one is called Substance by Elliot Middleton, and it kind of has that epic fantasy
Hmm.
kind of feel to it. So that's that in a nutshell is the emotion of the trilogy. Yeah, I like it too. And I noticed that, yeah, Elliot, he likes to, I mean, he does like use epic classical sound, but he likes to integrate a little bit of like contemporary percussion to, I guess, integrate it into more modern times, for lack of a better term. You know, it's very comparable to, let's see, composers like James Newton Howard, you know, from The Last Airbender. And so, for those wondering, I found Elliot Middleton on Shutterstock. They actually do music now, so if you want to purchase, you know, the licensing rights to their music, you can on
Wow.
Shutterstock. So, yeah, if you want, if anyone out there wants to hear more of Elliot Middleton and his music, go to Shutterstock.com. Go around the upper part of the page where it says music, and just type in Elliot Middleton in the search, and you know you can find he has he has a lot of great music. But I do have to say some of his music can be a little bit heavy on the percussion too, because you know he is a little bit adamant about trying to make some of it more a little bit more modern sometimes. So sometimes it becomes very apparent in some of his later works where sometimes there are slight undertones of even hip hop percussion mixed in with
Hmm.
epic fantasy strings.
That's yeah. Well, sometimes
Hmm.
with the I'll use Trans Siberian Orchestra for example.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm a big Trans Siberian Orchestra, big TSO fan from years back. And one thing that I really notice about TSO is that when TSO does goes on tour, does show and takes an orchestra with them, or takes a string section or a string quartet with them, and Mono Inc. From Germany also does the same thing. They just got done doing a world tour. They're on their Book of Fire tour now, but they just got done releasing a live DVD with a full blown orchestra backing them up and doing the rock show, and it's phenomenal. And Trans Siberian Orchestra at one time and some studio recordings did the same thing. And there's this marriage of harmony between strings, between string players, and the rest of the musicians in the band, talking music their ear. There's a harmony. There's a harmony in a marriage, a tonality that just can't beat. I listened to the new Ozzy Osbourne release, Ordinary Man, for one of the first time today. While I was out and about, take care of some stuff. And he's got Sir Elton John playing piano on the song. And he's got some other orchestrated orchestrated pieces going on. So the only way that he's going to be able to perform this stuff live is for him to take an orchestra on the road with them.
Oh wow.
So he's doing everything live, and there won't be any backing tracks. So
um,
there's some kind of magic, some kind of vibe
right,
between a string section, cello, viola, say 3 cellists, 5 violinists, um,
right,
that just completely comes together sonically with
right.
a loud freaking rock band, and it's like it sounds just amazing.
True. And even when they have the percussion, like the timpanis and the cymbals in the back, you
And
know,
that too, yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's like I remember seeing. Let's see, who did I see with the? Was it? I saw a Beatles tribute band one time. It had a Ministry and Cheap Trick in it, and I
What?
think
What?
uh, this was. I think this was about 10 years ago. I
And
saw.
what was the name?
Let's see. Well, the Beatles tribute. It had several bands. It had Cheap Trick, and it
Oh, okay.
had a Ministry. Playing Beatles songs. Well, at least their own interpretations of them. And then I remember the lead singer of Ministry saying, "She's so heavy." Yeah. Oh my God. Oh shoot. Okay. I should. I'm not going to do that again. Oh, Sonia said she enjoyed the Last Airbender.
Great
Yeah,
movie, yeah.
I actually liked it, and I liked um, I like the overall emotional tone of it. TSO is a great live band.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an adventure, beautiful string section. See, what did I tell you?
Exactly. Well, it's like you said. There's nothing we can substitute for it live, and
Good
I guess
one, Mike.
yeah. I mean, no matter how many Titantrons we have, and I mean, no matter how many equalizer boards we have to have the music pre-recorded, it's just not the same thing as a live orchestra.
No,
And
it's just powerful. It's
yeah,
powerful. It's magical, and yeah, I'd love to write a couple guitar pieces and have a couple celloists and some violinists accompany me. That would be. I'd love to do that.
right. It's like, oh, you just made me think of something. I need to listen to more Queens, right? Because I mean, wasn't their lead singer Geoffrey? Wasn't he opera trained?
Yeah, Jeff Tate.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know all about Queensryche, man. Yeah,
and
Jeff Tate. Jeff Tate.
right,
Sonia says yes.
because I heard him singing once "Silent
Science, yeah.
Lucidity." That was probably
Yeah,
the best integration of strings along with their lead guitar that I could
yeah,
that
yeah. You're talking about silent lucidity, and you're talking about
let's see, the best.
Eyes of the Stranger,
Uh-huh.
and you're talking about Operation Mindcrime. Yeah, Queensryche. I got it. Queensryche.
Yeah. But yeah, that was back in the day. That was quite a. I mean, he still sounds good now, but you
Jeff
know,
Tate. Yeah, he does actually. Sounds great.
yeah.
I was watching a performance with Jeff Tate and on YouTube, and he was saying that despite his age, that he's 60 something, he's saying that he feels like with the band that he's taken out on the road with him now,
Mhm.
he feels like there's a new life. There's a new inspiration to his songwriting, and there's a new life. He's discovering a new breath of life that is totally turning everything, just taking everything to a whole new level. And I'm like, Jeff Tate, man, yeah. Music has a way of doing that,
Right.
you know.
That is true.
Music,
Go ahead. Yeah.
music has a
Or,
way of doing that.
yeah, it does. And another example, I saw some footage. I think of like you remember guitarist Steve Stevens?
I know Steve very well. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Steve Stevens is one of the reasons why I have an
Oh,
acoustic guitar that's cabled off to an open G.
oh wow! So you're the I guess you're the new atomic playboy.
Yeah, I know Tom Playboy very well.
Like radiation
And
neos.
and on top of that, did you know that Steve Stevens has a solo deal going on? And in this band,
Right,
he's got Matt Sorum, who was the drummer for the Cult and for Guns N' Roses for many years,
right.
playing drums in this outfit. And on bass, he, he has Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath fame
Oh,
playing
all stuff.
bass for Deadland Ritual. The name of the band is Deadland Ritual, and and Perez is the singer. Perez is gnarly, man. I really like Frankie Perez.
Right,
I like to get him on my show. Well, actually, him and Steve both I love to get on my show too.
right.
But I would probably most likely get. He'd probably have Frankie
Yeah,
come
because
on.
I like I liked it when he was Frankie was singing, Atomic Playboys, we are radiation. And it's true because it gave Steve more room to you know come up with some more new lead guitar on that song.
Hmm.
So yeah, I do like him as a lead singer. Does he
Well,
still have the short hairstyle going?
yeah, yeah. Well, did you know
Hmm,
that Steve Stevens put out a flamenco album, a flamenco guitar album called Flamenco a Go Go?
really? No, that I
Yeah,
did not know. Yeah, the only thing I
pretty
know from.
pretty short.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out because the last thing I remember from Steve Stevens, other than that one song, you remember he was the lead guitarist for Vince Neil's band at one time.
For
Um,
which one?
Vince Neil, remember there was
Oh,
a
I remember. Yeah, that's Exposed. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and then of course Sister of Pain. That
Yeah,
was the
that
guitar.
Vince Neil Exposed. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then he went from there to Billy Idol,
right,
and he was with Billy Idol first. Then he went to go help out. Billy Idol went different directions, so Steve Stevens went to go help out Vince Neil. And
right,
then after his time with Vince Neil, he went back to Billy Idol again and have been with Billy Idol ever since.
right.
And now he's doing um,
Well,
Deadland Ritual.
right, but I mean, he and Billy Idol have always had a working relationship, and wasn't and
Yeah.
he wrote some of his songs, didn't I mean Billy Idol's songs, didn't he?
Oh, Billy Idol sounds great.
Yeah.
For a guy that's like,
Well, he looks great too. I mean, what if
yeah,
he
that's amazing. Amazing.
Right. I mean, obviously, either he's taken really good care of himself, or it's like he knows some secret. He knows where the fountain of youth is that we don't.
Hey, he looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen him. I've seen him a few times, and I'm a big Billy Idol fan.
Right.
And I've seen the different areas, the different phases of Billy Idol from Generation X all the way through the whole punk scene, all the way out of the punk scene to his own solo stuff, hooking up with Steve Stevens, winning, um, have Rebel Yell, Eyes Without a Face. Eyes Without a Face, incidentally, that is a song in E major. That because when I figured out the chord progression for the four main chords in the song, I realized that theory-wise, even though I was playing a guitar that was tuned down half a step, the fingering and the way I was fretting the chords was it was all E major, and it just amazing. But
Yes, definitely.
it's all come back to me.
Like,
Funny Lambert.
gosh, yeah. How did we get from the books to? Well, well, no. These are great memories, though.
That's I'm telling you. Sonia. Later, Mike. Hey, Sonic Sonia. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a part of this. And check out Lambert's links down the description box below. I'll see you
Great
next
to meet
week,
you, Sonia.
Sonia. I have some big show announcements coming up, and I really think you're going to like what I've got to say. And I'm so very excited, Sonic Sonia, to share this with you. ESP Mike, Wolverine, Cutter Savage, uh, Mark Nash, Rich Antonelli, and all the rest of the guests, Chad Boston, and all the rest of the guests that I've had. Hang tight, Sonia. This is going to be good. March is going to be a great, great month for Artists Talk. Hang in there, Sonia. Have a killer day. Laters, Will. Laters, Lambert.
Later, Sonia. Later, Sonia.
So, what would you say
Mhm.
when you started writing your books and you started to think about the characters and getting back on track here?
Right.
Music does that, though.
Yeah.
Music. Once music comes up, forget about
Right.
it. So we need to get back on track here. What this show is really all about. You and I could talk music anytime,
Right.
but right. But this show is about your books. And do you hope? Pardon me, Lambert. Do you hope to be able to start attending book conventions and to take your novelistic approach to a wider audience?
I do. Actually, I do. This year I was trying to save up money to go to the LA Book Fair that they hold once a year at USC. But alas, other expenses came up, and I wasn't able to book a booth there in time or come up with the funds to book a booth.
Mm-hmm.
Because anyone from already established writers from any genre, and because I remember that Sarah J. Maas, she's part of the Game of Thrones series. She was there, and then Danica McKellar from the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
She has all these math books that she's written, and I've also seen a lot of up and coming writers like C. Tony Graham, you know, let's see, the name of her series was, wait, hold on, let me see if I can find that series.
And while Lambert's getting something for us, I just want to say that, again, like I was saying, March is going to be a very exciting month. And there's some, I have 3 major shows in the works right now.
Right. There was a
And
new
I have,
author,
I,
C. Tony Graham,
mm-hmm,
and she was writing the Crossroads series, and she ended up writing 2 books from that, Crossroads, the Himalayan crystals, and then Crossroads, the Dominion of Four. Um, the Himalayan Crossroads, this is the first book. This one right here is the second book. Oh, sorry, I'm covering the Dominion of Four. So that's what's really good about the LA Book Fair is that, both the new writers and established writers have a chance to promote their material there. And it's right in the middle of the USC campus.
mm-hmm,
And it's held once a year. And what are the dates for? Let me look up the dates for this year's book fair for any of those who are interested.
absolutely. So how's everybody's day going? Thank you for joining us today. Let's know in the chat.
Oh, April. So for those who are interested in seeing, new artists like C. Tony Graham or established writers, like Danica McKellar, April 13th and 14th on the USC campus. And if you're looking for a free
Wow.
admission, you can volunteer to like maybe do security or, just watch over some of the booths of these writers. So there are
Wow.
opportunities for that as well. And
Wow.
for those of you who are also writers yourself, this might be a chance to promote some of your books or your materials. And if you are into music or music theory, yes, you can even promote those over there as well. What about you, Will? Do you have any music theory books?
I just have books I've read, and probably my favorite books of my collection would definitely have to be Milton's Paradise Lost
Oh, okay.
and Dante's Inferno.
Oh, yes. Nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
would definitely say that and No Regrets by Ace Frehley and the Randy Rhoads story written by people that were very close to Randy Rhoads, documenting all of Randy Rhoads' careers and all throughout his career, from Quiet Riot to Ozzy to the time he passed away in a actually a plane crash. And music books, no, I would say that those books right there. Oh, and I also have a novel by Pete Townsend, the book that he released called Who Am I? I also have that too.
Okay,
So
nice.
I have a few books laying around here in Dreamland Studios.
Yeah, I have the entire Game of Thrones, saga, all 8 of them. And let's see, what other saga do I have? Let's see. Well, everyone has the Harry Potter saga, and I even have my own Harry Potter snitch. The snitch that he caught, during his first match. Like, oh wow, I really am a fan.
Well, talking about literature here.
Right. And oh, before I forget, I also have to give a shout out to my editor, Patrick L. Dupree. He was I mean, I wrote the story, but he's the one who edited the spelling, any grammar mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and he also formatted the interior of my book too. So, you know, as an example, it's all this interior right here.
Mm-hmm.
That was all Patrick.
Wow.
Yeah, Patrick L. Dupree. So, a big shout out to him and a big thank
Yes,
you, because without him, this book trilogy would not have been possible. And oh, let me introduce a couple of some books that he's written. So he's more
absolutely.
fiction,
Absolutely. No, it's okay. What do you have?
like Deputy Roy Hall. So it's basically the story of Roy Hall, who is the protagonist of the story. Sheriff Martin, he wants to retire and he wants Roy Hall to take his place, but there's another deputy who has other plans. What was the name of that deputy? It's been a while since I read this one. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's been about 3 years since I read that book, but um, the point is yeah, the antagonist who wants to become the new sheriff,
Hmm.
he's going to do everything he can to take out Deputy Roy Hall. And the woman in the picture, Shelley Bodine, is a journalist who's going to help him expose this, plan and scheme of his. So the action gets pretty gritty, and it
Oh
gets
yeah.
very exciting. If you like guns, you like fast cars, explosions, this is the story. Kind of like the whole Jack Reacher thing. There's also Tai Fu, White Tiger. I did the cover on this one. I used a little Photoshop, and
Hmm.
I put some images together, and I came up with this cover for Patrick. Oh, it's like, let me see if I can get the glare out of it. Oh, looks like
There you
this.
go. There you
Oh,
go. Right there. Lift it up. Right there. Perfect. That is pretty sharp. Wow. Well,
so yeah.
that's something.
And if anyone is interested in his books, they can go to Amazon.com. Just um, go to either books or authors and um, type in Patrick L. Dupree, and his books will show up right there. So again, a big thank you and a big shout out to Patrick, my editor, who made all this possible. And he's even going to help me edit my next trilogy, which is going to be Red Phoenix Legend: The Latter-day Chronicles. It's kind of like it's like martial arts in a more modern time, like the whole
Hmm.
the Highlander series. It's like you have ancient storylines that tie into the modern timeline, and somehow the two are connected, and they must balance each other out.
That's cool. That's really good. So tell me, since we're borderline almost out of time today, tell me what if you were going to say anything to anybody who's got a creative idea or anybody that wants to become a novelist, a published novelist like such as yourself, what would you say? What kind of advice and inspiration can you give somebody who might be watching us now, who will catch this on the replay, who will catch it on Facebook, see my posts on Twitter, on Instagram? What would you say is the most, what would be the most inspiring thing that you could say for somebody just coming up in the literature world?
Um, I guess the most inspiring thing I could say is if you have an idea, you know, just write it down. It doesn't matter if it's the beginning of the story. It doesn't matter if it's the end of the story, but write it down. Have a pen and paper handy in a side pocket on your shirt or your sport coat, so that way it doesn't escape you. And then you know organizing it, that's easy. but just make sure you write down the idea first. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how grammatically correct you think it needs to be. Just write it down, and just trust. That's what needs to be written. And I know it sounds cliche, but be yourself. Don't worry so much about what the current trends are. Just write what you are feeling, in here. And then I guess the most important piece of um, legal advice I can give to people, how can I say it without being too politically incorrect? Just be careful about a lot of independent publishers out there. There are good ones, but there are also a lot of scams. So,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of independent publishers out there looking to take advantage of people who are just starting out writing for the first time. So be very, very careful of that. Do your research, talk to as many, authors, both old and new, as you can, so you can hear about their experiences with publishers and, what they've gone through. That way you can avoid, you know, again, those that are trying to take advantage and take your money.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm currently with the Amazon Kindle because they're legitimate. There are no, there's no hidden agendas. Because I guess a company as big as Amazon cannot afford to, be trying to throw marketing scams at their,
No,
authors like that.
not at all.
So, and it's, the catch is you do have to do the work when publishing with Amazon. You have to do your own writing, your own editing. But the trade-off is they're legitimate and they're honest. So that's my other piece of advice. But if you do want to go with another independent publisher out there, again, just do your research and be careful. So that's the best advice I can give.
And one last thing, before we finish here, I just want to, well, let me just say thank you, Lambert, for coming on by Shirley, hanging out with me and talking to me about everything from literature to music to theory to guitars.
Yes,
Very important, very important.
indeed.
And thank you for sharing your expertise and thank you for sharing your goals. And I wish you nothing but success with meeting your goals, becoming a screenwriter, having your own cameo appearance in one of your own movies with your music. And I'd say do it. I'd say go for it. And I'd say that if you believe it and you conceive it, you can achieve it. And I, just like you have 2 books or 3 books already published, and you're already a published author, do it. Make it happen. You have the you have the talent, you have the charisma, you have that creative spirit about you that can make this happen. And don't let anybody say that you can't, because I know that if you believe it and you conceive it, you will achieve it. Because I've done it, and
Yes, you.
I'm doing it with this show, and I'm doing this with creating my brand
Right.
that
Well,
I hope to take to LLC status next year
you
and
will.
become my own limited liability corporation.
Liability, huh? Oh my God. Thank you
Become
so
my own LLC.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, and I have to one more thing I have to say before I go. You actually helped me come up with the idea to integrate some of that music into my blog post, so I have to thank you for that, Mr. Dreamer.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you know what? That's why I have people on the show. And that's why Guitar Streaming 352 is here.
Right?
Because I want there's got to be something. I'd like something to say. I'd like something to do in my life to where when I'm gone, and my name is just printed on social media in the airways. The Dreamer, Guitars Dreaming 352, Artist Talk, soon to be Pedal Talk, Plug-in Talk are the two new shows that I'm working on right now. And and I want to leave deep footprints like the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I want people to know that I was here. And the only way that I could see that happening is to help as many people as I possibly can to set them in a direction to help them stay in a direction to achieve their goals. And if there's anything that I've said, if there's anything that I've done today to help you and to inspire you, then my work here is done. And I want you to know you have been a pleasure, a total honor to have you on Artist Talk and hanging out with me, the Dreamer. And I would, when you, as your journalistic um, progression, as your adventures and your journeys of realizing your dream of being a screenwriter and achieving those goals and coming up with a script to add composers to make a soundtrack. I'd love to have you back in about 6 months, and I would let 6 months, 8 months, whenever you feel ready. And I would love to have you back on Artist Talk, and I'd love to see what you're doing.
I would love to come back and thank you again also.
Well, this has been Lambert. This has been me, the Dreamer. This is we've been chatting about books. We still got a few viewers. Please check out the links down in the description box below. One thing I say to all my dreamers, and I said to you, and I say to all my guests, stay inspired. Stay inspired, folks. See you next week. Next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Wait till you see who my guest is going to be. It's going to blow your mind. My mind's already blown. Keep the faith, everybody. Stay positive. And the wheel turning, turning,